While red states across the country are banning books involving any sort of discussion about LGBT issues, race, and anything else that they might find objectionable, Republican lawmakers in Tennessee have decided that they would like to push a bill that would remove the age requirement for people to get married. Now, of course, not only applies to heterosexual couples, of course. The same bill would also ban gay marriage. HB 233 would basically open up a new classification of common law marriage involving one man, one woman, and perhaps even a child. I'm not kidding. You remove that age requirement, that could happen. Now, opponents of the bill say it would eliminate this age requirement and in some instances open up the door for a cover-up of child sexual abuse. Because of course, right? Really? Now, again, missing from the bill, as people point out, are an age requirement for marriage. It's not hyperbole. It's not an oversight. I wish it was. My God, I wish it was. But no, I'm going to read you a quote here from the sponsor of the bill, Tom Leatherwood, Republican of Arlington, and he's going to point out, like, oh yeah, that there's no age requirement. This bill, here's what he said, quote, "There is not an explicit age limit." Oh. Now he added this, "All this bill does is give an alternative form of marriage for those pastors and other individuals who have a conscientious objection to the current pathway to marriage in our law." Well, what's wrong with the current laws in Tennessee? I mean, yes, in Tennessee, a person can get married to a 17-year-old as long as there is parental consent. But this guy's like, no, let's just not even put an age requirement in there at all. You know, so I guess if you want to get married to that 13-year-old, that's fine. You know, hey, but as long as it's not a gay marriage. See, we draw the line at that. We're not going to let a gay marriage. But, you know, if you're a 30-year-old and you're dating a 16-year-old and you want to marry your dad, oh, that's totally fine. Yeah, we'll let that go. Attaboy. And they're the ones that call gay people predators and groomers. I mean, this is what they consider the party of family values. Now, as I mentioned here before, they've been trying to erase gay and trans people and roll back same-sex rights as a way to quote-unquote protect the children. They all say it. Oh, we're trying to protect the kids. We're trying to protect the kids. We're trying to keep them away from the groomers and the pedophiles. And, you know, we're trying to take them away from the predators and, you know, protect them. No, you're opening the door for predators. That's what you're doing. You're trying to legalize child brides. I mean, that's insane. They don't care about children, especially trans children. I mean, again, what this is that this is simply a tool that some of these people, because on a base level, everyone wants to protect children. We all have that drive in common to protect them from predators, to protect them from harm. There are certain people, far-right culture warriors, that exploit that for their own personal or political gain. That's what they're doing. Now, there are Democrats, that, by the way, that push back against this bill, partly, again, because it would block gay marriage, but also because it removes that age limit. In fact, here's Representative Mike Stewart from Nashville. He sits in a subcommittee the bill passed out of and said, look, quote, "I don't think any normal person thinks we shouldn't have an age requirement for marriage. It should not be there, as it's basically a get-out-of-jail-free card for people who are basically committing statutory rape." I mean, it's completely ridiculous. So that's another reason why this terrible bill should be eliminated. 100%. But you don't understand, see, the QAnon, Q tells me, in the latest Q drop, it could be even a Q dump, you know.
Dumps.
The biggest dumps. where he says that it's the Democrats that are the child predators. Yes, yeah, because they're trans people in the schools and all that. No, what they want to do is actually, what Democrats want to do is basically say, oh, yes, we acknowledge that gay and trans people exist, and maybe we shouldn't, I don't know, ban their existence. I know, controversial. And then Tulsi Gabbard comes out and says, and I didn't get the video for this, and I probably should have. Tulsi Gabbard comes out and says, well, why don't we just ban these discussions? Why don't we take the Florida's Don't Say Gay bill and let's expand it further? Let's do that. Let's expand it to, K through 12 instead of K through 3. Yes, let's do that. Not have any discussions. Progressive my ass. Ridiculous. Now, the Sexual Assault Center of Middle Tennessee, following this, released the following statement about it and said this, quote, the Sexual Assault Center does not believe the age of consent for marriage should be any younger than it already is. It makes children more vulnerable to coercion and manipulation from predators, sexual and other. And look, he's absolutely right. Or they're right. Look, according to UNICEF, approximately 300,000 girls and boys in the U.S. were married before reaching the age of 18 between 2000 and 2018. Under current Tennessee law, as I mentioned before, one person can get married as young as 17 years old with parental consent. And so, look, getting rid of that, do they not understand how much of a complete and utter hypocrisy this is? And by the way, how much projection this is. The Republican Party, oh yeah, we want to protect children and we want to keep them safe and away from predators. By the way, we're going to open up the way for people to have predators. And just to go and groom and marry children. They think that's totally fine. I'm not saying every Republican thinks that way. No. But there are certain people in power that apparently couldn't wait to legalize child brides. Disgusting. It's just like, Afghanistan or some of these other places where you have fundamentalist religion.